Be really loud with your question.
The first part of your speech I applaud very much. I think you have a very important message for these young people. Totally in agree with that.
What part? The first part meaning what?
When you were telling these young people why they should not be involved in drugs, I applaud that. I'm in agreement with that. As far as the second thesis you had about this society trying to get the community hooked on drugs, you and I debated that last time.
We did.
We don't need to repeat that.
We did.
But as a retired DEA agent, I think that's very fallacious. And the only message I would have to these young people here is, if you get involved in drugs, it's on you. It's your responsibility. You can't blame anybody else. You can't blame society. And this whole idea that the system, whoever that is trying to get young people or anybody else hooked on drugs is a conspiracy theory that has absolutely no validity at all. Thank you.
And we would just encourage people to read the book Dark Alliance. Seriously. All right? Because really, he gets really, really specific. Names, routes, who the people were involved, who the exact CIA agents were involved, and so on and so forth. Read the book Dark Alliance. And also read Michael Rupert, who was also LAPD, LA police officer for years, but at least 20 years, Michael Rupert. And so they know exactly what we've been talking about. When I say we, I mean those of us in the black community. They've been knowing what we've been talking about for years. For years. You know what I'm saying? Just check out these people. They're specific. It's very, very specific, right? These 15 and 16-year-olds on the corner selling drugs, those are not the kingpins. They own no planes. They own no boats. No boats at all in terms of how these drugs are coming in and so on and so forth. The big boys don't ever get arrested. And part of the big boys are in the American government. The CIA, it's common knowledge that the CIA are drug dealers. I mean, that's common knowledge that the CIA are drug dealers. That maybe it was conspiracy theory back in the day, but now the information is coming. Read Dark Alliance. Just start with Dark Alliance. So it's clear. So yeah. So yeah. Go ahead, bro.
So beyond just on an individual basis, like throughout our lives, we kind of go through stressful times. Bad things happen. A lot of things in life. You got like exams. You got all these things going on. Sometimes like we kind of just feel like we want to escape from reality. So what do you have to say to us when we feel in that mode?
And see, the escape from reality is real. Is real. There's so many people going through some heavy stuff, man. There's so many people going through heavy stuff. And not saying that preparing for finals not heavy stuff, but there are people going for even much deeper heavy stuff, going through much deeper heavy stuff. And for them, they have to have some type of escape. We say, of course, as Muslims, that if we obey Allah, follow Allah, you know what I'm saying? Remember Allah, follow Allah's program, then we won't need it. We won't need it. It'll give us a way of holding on, because like many of us, we wanted to escape. We wanted to escape because it was feeling like we couldn't hold on. You know what I'm saying? So at least if I can just escape this madness for a little bit, then I'll be cool. Now once I come down, the madness is still gonna be there, right? So we say you can get that from faith. You can get that from Allah. That Allah will give you the exact same thing. That doesn't mean that when you try to use faith and spirituality, it don't mean you ain't gonna go through stuff. You're gonna go through heavy stuff too. But you'll have a better way of how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? That's not self-destructive. That doesn't destroy your soul, doesn't destroy your mental faculties, doesn't destroy you physically. It'll be a better way of how to handle that. So we say as Muslims that if we follow Allah's program, follow Allah's program, just get with Allah, right? Because what did Allah say? That stuff will take you away from my remembrance. It'll take you away from my remembrance. And Allah is the one who created us, so He knows how we work as human beings. He knows how we function. Once we lose that remembrance of Allah, and then we become very, very susceptible. So remembrance of Allah, following Allah's program. So when we get low, when we get down, Allah gives us a way to get out of it. Allah gives us a way to come out of it that's beneficial for us and beneficial for our families. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen, of course, what drugs have done to families. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how they talk about the devastation of drugs that they don't condone, like cocaine, marijuana, so on and so forth, and the devastation that alcohol is causing in communities, man, and in families around this country. Alcohol, man, alcohol is beyond deadly. It's beyond deadly. I mean, it is deadly, but they don't look at it that way. No, LSD is deadly, marijuana is deadly, methamphetamines are deadly, so on and so forth. But alcohol is not put, like, really put on that list. Alcohol should be outlawed. I mean, the type of devastation that alcohol causes, that should be outlawed. But Allah has a program. Allah has a program. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's saying, you follow my program and you won't need all this stuff. You won't need all this stuff. I'll give you other outlets. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But then that comes down to trust. Trusting him. You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
Our Muslim community is actually being bombarded with a lot of Muslim youth that are actually getting into marijuana themselves.
Yes.
You see them at the masjid, they help out as well. How would you approach that, and how would you kind of explain that?
She was saying that some of the Muslim youth are finding themselves